And welcome back. Today we are flying out one of the better premium jets, the F-5C. I have 2 other videos on it if this isn't enough for you, but before we get started, thank you to all my Patreons. And if you are looking to buy this or anything else on the Convergence store, we finally have a decal if you use my link down below. A little bit of a skill issue that it took Convergence 43 days to implement it, but hey, it's finally here. I can't really complain anymore. And I was a little bit tense about the reception, but I worked for nothing because you guys seem to absolutely love the thing. So I really couldn't be happier about it. So what is the F-5C like? Because I have been selling this thing to you guys for a little bit now, and it's not because I want you all to shell out your money. It's because I think this is one of the better premiums you can actually get. It's super versatile. And it is pretty handholdy with the flares, with the guns. So the guns aren't as great anymore as they once were because they lose a lot of speed quite rapidly now. And the AIM-9Es aren't exactly amazing. You can get some kills with them, but they're not super reliable. You can use them very much against stalled out opponents and just people that aren't really paying attention. But in general, your main kills are gonna be your guns. And of course the fact that you are pretty nimble, you are pretty squirrely, and you hold your speed quite well once you go above Mach 0.95. And that's just because the thrust of this thing gets absolutely wild the quicker that you go. How do you play this thing? Well, it kind of depends on the situation really. There is no real way to play it. You can just play this thing however you want and you'll mostly get some decent results out of it. It is not very hard, it's not very complicated. You just need to be careful that you don't get yourself shot down basically. And I know that sounds super logical, and I mean it in the sense, don't just straight up kill yourself. Don't do what I'm doing right here if there's someone next to you, for example. If you just keep your speed a little bit, don't turn fight the first person that you see, and just hold your speed a little bit, be a little bit patient. You can get very aggressive if the situation allows you to be, but in general, especially at the start when there's a lot of enemies around, you want to be a little bit more careful and you want to make sure that you really pick your fights. But in general, you can just kind of do whatever. And here I'm just going into the furball. I missile the Su-25 so that I can break off to go for the MiG-21S, but he pulls into us and we are not going to be getting a shot. Su-25 is now burning. I do want to be careful that I don't get flat spin missile. And at this point I'm simply looking around, seeing who I can engage and who is going to put me in a bad position. Right here the A-5C is right ahead of us. He doesn't have anyone trailing him, so I can latch onto his 6. He's also busy shooting at one of my teammates, but the MiG-21 ahead of us is stalled out, so I'm going to switch over, shoot a missile at him, and then switch back to the A-5C and gun him down just the same way. I think he was kind of oblivious, maybe he passed out. And in the background everyone is crashing, which is a little bit of a shame because this would have been an 11 kill game probably if it wasn't for everyone just dying in the background. But you know, we already have 5 and the silver lining gain of this match is going to be quite nuts. Just wait for that, you'll see it plenty soon here. We are going to try and chase the Su-25, but the Su-25 is going pretty quick and I don't want to chase him around and then run into the entire enemy team because it's 1v5 currently when I'm on half ammo, half fuel, no missiles, and I don't really want to risk it, so I'm just checking what they are in. I'm gonna see what kills they have. Another Su-25, I could have picked him off. Unfortunately I didn't see him in time, so we are gonna go RTB and see what my team does in the meantime. But both my teammates get killed in the background, but they also lost 2 people due to crashing. 2 Su-25s, but Su-25s in this thing are quite easy to deal with. Why is that? Well, you have flares, you are faster, and you can dogfight them quite reliably. Just be careful when there's multiple, because they can bleed your speed quite quickly. So what is the reason that I say that this thing is so good? Well, you have pretty decent early game survivability. You stay fast quite handily. You can run away from a lot of things as long as you don't get fully up-tiered. And even late game, say there is one guy left and you can't kill him because he's camping the base, or he's doing something that makes him very hard to kill, and you have free reign in the middle of the map. This thing can ground pound very, very well, and that's also one of 2 reasons why I'm running the ground belts. The ground belts actually hit harder on this thing for some reason. And secondly, you can kill pillboxes quite handily. You can one-tap medium and heavy tanks. Light tanks just die, ground units just explode. So you can basically shoot at everything with these guns, and considering you have 560 rounds, it makes it quite handy if you have to shoot some ground units in between. Even in between dogfights, if you can spare like 20 to 40 rounds, you can kill 2 medium tanks, which is just a little bit more grind again. And with the A10, for example, sure you get the AIM-9Ls, but if people dodge those guns or dodge those missiles, most of the time, I mean, you're kind of reliant on your team in the A10. And in this thing, you can kind of create your own luck. The AV-8, in my opinion, it's kind of limited. and very much dependent on your team. Here we missed the A-5C and we're gonna continue on straight. We have plenty of flares because we don't run the MiG setting. And I'm gonna go for this MiG-21 first because he's pretty slow. And this A-5C is not gonna catch us anytime soon. So I'm just gonna hold the trigger down. SPS gets set on fire. And he is gonna do absolutely nothing. And I kind of want to dogfight the A-5C right now. But I know there is another dude around, of which I don't know the location. A-5C just shot his second missile off. So he should be largely useless for the time being. I'm not really worried about an A-5C without missiles, because it only has a 23mm, and well, let's be honest, they don't turn that well compared to this thing. It does hold its energy quite well, but right now I'm just looking for the other guy, and it's another MiG-21 SPS. So we're gonna turn into him, make sure that he doesn't get any side profile or rear profile. We turn in, he gets a very close range lock, but that's not gonna pull in at all. Just flare, just in case. I have 40 left anyway, and lock him up, expecting him to run away so I can missile him. He has to dodge it, but he doesn't. We then miss a very easy shot. And we're just gonna pull after him, because if he full sends it, he's gonna go very slow. And if he goes very slow, he's probably not gonna be dodging this one. Line up the missile. Keep looking for the A-5C. Missile finds its mark. And right now I'm just trying to see if the A-5C is coming around. But I think he's gonna go RTB, just replenish his missiles, and then come back later when he is going to be completely fine. So what do we do in the meantime? I'm gonna kill a few ground units just on the way back to the base. There's some AA here. Shoot, kill. I mean, AA, not a hard thing to kill. But medium tanks, no problem either. You don't need a Gauade Avenger, you just need a few rounds. So we killed 2 units right there. And I'm just looking to grind maybe 50 to 100 rounds. And then kind of loiter the area. And then I'll engage the A-5C in the middle of the map with half fuel, so that I actually am quite a bit lighter. So I'm gonna go for this medium tank, and I have a feeling this AA is going to hit me, so I'm already preemptively dodging. I line up the shots, I shoot twice, and boom boom, there we go. That's an oil leak. So we are now going RTB yet again, because anti-air artillery in this game is an absolute fucking joke, and I don't care what you say. AA has no place in this game when it comes to the middle of the map. Middle of the map. You should not just get fucked because you're simply flying there. I know I was engaging some ground units. The anti-air artillery is there to hinder me from doing that. But if it always hits you, and if it always gives you an oil leak, and just forces you to go RTB at any time, what am I supposed to do, dude? It's an absolute joke. But let's go into the plane a little bit more. So the A10, you have the A9Ls, which are pretty nasty. But you are at 10.0 now, and you are going to be up-tiered very often, and you're just too slow. You are going to go 700 at most times, especially if you bring a payload. Now, if you are a ground RB player, you're going to be completely fine with that one. But most of you guys on this channel probably aren't, and then you might want to pick between this and the AV8. And why do I think the AV8 is a worse plane? Because the AV8... it's one of those pretty limited planes. Sure, it has CCIP, there's a pretty decent bomb load, and you can basically rush in ahead of everyone, get a base bomb in, base bombing run in, and then simply just RTB. Sure, not a bad idea. However, this thing can do that as well, and sure, you might get up tier to 11.3 sometimes, which is pretty nasty, and it's maybe a little bit less free and brain dead than the AV8A, because the AV8A, you can pilot the AV8A by a bot. And it's going to get RP for you. This thing, it's a little bit less forgiving in that sense, but it's a bit of a toss-up. If you want absolutely brain dead grinding, sure, the AV8 is going to be a better pick. If you are an active player, you want a versatile plane that can basically do everything, a plane that's actually kind of fun to fly, and a plane that doesn't, it's not a struggle to fly no matter what you do. If you want to bomb a base in it, it can do that. If you want to dogfight people, it can do that. If you want to ground pound in ground RB or even in the middle of the map over here, you can do that. And with the AV8, you're kind of forced to go for ground units and then shoot your missiles at people. And sure, if you are very bad or if you have a very poor aim, the AV8 is probably going to be a better pick. A10, however, I think the A10 is still better than the AV8 because it's a little bit more useful in more scenarios. And you get the A9Ls. The problem is that if you only fly air RB, the A10 I don't think is going to be that great. Now sure, if you bring like a squad of people and they clean the game for you, and then you can ground pound at your own leisure, you're gonna rack in quite a bit of RP with that thing. But you're simply too slow, and most of the time, by the time you get into the middle of the map. By the time you get to do anything in the game is already decided. Just like this match right here. By the time I started killing people, our team was like 4v10 or some shit. Our team was doing extremely poorly. In an 8-10, you can't extend from anyone. You're forced to stay in the furball, and if they decide to go for you and shoot you, you're going too slow to dodge. And now here, we're gonna start engaging in F-5C, and you might wonder, why are you not going directly at him at the start when I went from the runway? And that is because I was trying to cut him off back to the airfield, because I was expecting him to not go for us. I was expecting him to do a bombing run, turn around and instantly go for the airfield again. He tries to go head on. I'm not gonna take that. I have too many advantages here, and I'm gonna turn over him and drop right on top of him. He's gonna try to dive out. Fair assessment, because if he had tried to actually go up for me, he would have stalled directly in my guns. But we shoot an A9E at him, and he somehow manages to well, catch it. And that is going to be 8 kills. Quite handily, sure, a little bit of a lucky game. Call it cherry picked. I didn't do that many games, but yes, of course it's a highlight. We are on YouTube right here, so I'm gonna show you the games that are actually interesting. So what do we get out of an 8 kill game with 3 ground units? It's a decently sized game. I think it was about 15 to 16 minutes. We'll see that in a second down below here. If it loads any quicker, thank you very much. And that's 207,000 Silver Lions and about 33,000 RP. Now the RP, I don't get anything because I don't have anything unlocked anymore. And here we are again, another game, but this time everyone is going for us. And the reason I'm showing you this is to show you the way I got into this scenario. My team just simply died. And then, well, the Su-25 rams the F-5C out of the air. This A-5C is gonna start shooting at us. But that's 2 guys less. I'm just making sure that I can actually go RTB. Don't almost get killed by that guy. And we're just gonna point at the base. We need to get out of here. We're losing a lot of speed because of that red wing route. And we're just gonna run away. We are gonna make it back to the airfield. Don't ask me how, but we do. And it's a matter of simply gunning it. Aviator is gonna shoot a missile at us, way too far away. That's not even gonna reach us probably. Then I think it is, so I'm just gonna turn a little bit and flare it. I'm picking up a lot less speed than I want to. And you can tell that I'm also bleeding it a lot more because I have a slightly orange wing route. Now when I say that this thing has an absolutely bullshit flight model, mostly damage model, I'm sorry. It's because it's actually almost impossible to actually kill. Sure, with some damage this thing does struggle quite a bit and you will feel the damage. But this thing will almost always make it back to the base. As long as you don't get set on fire or your tail control shot out. Which is kind of annoying. Why do we shoot the missile here? Might as well. It's not gonna happen, but at least it kind of pressures him. So he's gonna turn around and we are gonna go RTB. So right now we have a 1v5 on our hands. It's an Su-7, an AV-8, an A-5C, an Su-25 and an A-10 I believe. And they have been killing ground units for a little bit in the middle of the map. So we are severely down on tickets, so we are a little bit on the clock. And we want to make sure that we kill these guys as quickly as we can. So I'm going to be overly aggressive, because if I don't, I am simply going to lose on tickets. Which would be kind of unfortunate. This guy is going for ground units, he's kind of oblivious. So I'm just going to park on a 6, wait till we get really close, hold the trigger down, we set him on fire. And I'm simply going to switch targets. Now that guy should burn up. If he doesn't, we have a little bit of a problem on our hands. But for now we are gonna go continue on and go head on with the AV-8. We shoot a few rounds, we dodge his round, we shoot around him somehow. And we are gonna pull straight back in. The AV-8 doesn't turn for us. Su-25 coming straight at us. And the A-5C actually put the fire out, which is a little bit of an L moment. Go ahead on with the Su-25, he doesn't want to take it for some reason. So we switch, we hold the trigger down and we set him on fire as well. AV-8 then tries to pull in, he's gonna give me a very easy shot here. I just have to shoot in front of him. I don't know if I shot through him there or what happened, but I 100% should have killed him right there. Then we continue on for the A-5C, because I don't want him to get back to the airfield, because if he does, I simply lose due to the fact that I will run out of time. A-5C is very, very slow. The Su-25 burns up, shoots a missile at us. Guy in the chat also warns us about it, but it's simply way out of range. I don't even have to react to it. A-5C is air braking in the vertical with its engines off. Not sure what his idea was right there. But now it went from a 2 a 1v4 to a 1v2 in the middle of the map. The issue is there is still an A10 all the way on the runway. We head on the AV8, not gonna get the shot, the heat pulls back in, so we are gonna dodge it. And now, if any of these two guys turns for us, we're gonna have a little bit of an issue for them, because they are not gonna be out-turning me unless this guy goes VTOL mode. And then all he does is kind of be annoying, but he's not really gonna be a threat. We continue on for the SU7, we go head on with him, we crit him. Damage of tail, not really critical, and he's probably gonna keep turning with us now because he's damaged and it's 2v1. So I kind of want to just damage them both. I'm not really gonna go for the SU7 here. I'm gonna dodge the SU7, use the terrain to dodge the AV8, and then we turn up and over the AV8, and then we should get a shot here. And we are gonna see if we can gun him down real quick. Hold the trigger, get a hit, shoot again, get a crit. Very unfortunate, but we have to break off now to go for the SU7. But you can already hear the music. There it is, final blow. Thank you tickets for draining on their own. I just love games ending prematurely. But let's go into the last game of today, which has a bit of a few memes going on. So first things first, we have an A-5C diving on us, so we're just gonna dive out. We should be a lot quicker than him, and everyone is gonna spam the missiles. Even though we have flares, we are clearly paying attention, we are clearly flaring when they are shooting the missiles, so I'm not completely sure why they keep sending them down here. There comes a missile number 4. We drop 2 flares, 4 flares, we turn a little bit, and guess what? All your missiles are now wasted. We are gonna go straight for a little bit and see if any of them want to break off. AV8 does the smart thing and goes away. The A-5C however thinks he's gonna try and shoot us from 2 kilometers away with his NR-23s. We direct him towards one of our bombing bases. In the meantime, I'm gonna encourage him to keep going for us. And I want him to... most of the A-5C that I ran into want to try and bomb. So if he turns around to bomb that target, I'm gonna turn around to go for him. If he doesn't, I'm simply going to dogfight him in the head-on. He goes to the bombing point. He completely forgets that we exist, I guess. And... he needed 2 magics. I only need 1 AIM-9E. Down he goes. And onto the next target we go. MiG-21 diving in on us. And this game will not be mainly about the kills, but mostly about staying alive and navigating the map. So we turn a little bit into him. We keep turning to see what he does. I'm gonna try to maintain Mach 0.95 to keep our speed up quite high. And we just keep looking around. Not sure what I just got a crit for. I don't think I hit anyone. Maybe I looked at someone funny and he thought, well, I get an aneurysm and his brain explodes or something, but I don't know why I just got a crit. A-5C on the 6, I'm just gonna keep flying straight to bait out a missile. There it comes, drop the afterburner, press some flares. I flare a little bit more because it's a magic and it might not be as forgiving as another missile, especially from a direct rear aspect. And the SU-25 then in front of us, he is very hot. I was almost taking him out for dinner, but if you keep flying straight and you drop your flares, missiles don't really get fooled, because the SU-25 is just extremely hot, and it really doesn't give a shit if you flare, if you don't throttle down, or at least try to turn a little bit. Then we have an A-5C as well as a MiG-21 coming in. What do? We just turn. I'm not turning fully, I'm tapping the negative elevator with my keyboard to make sure that we don't turn very tight, keep all my speed, and I come out of that turn with Mach 0.98, which is kind of ridiculous considering this plane doesn't have that good of an engine. Just at high speed, boy, does it have some power. MiG-21 going over us. Want to make sure that he doesn't actually turn around for us. If he doesn't, then we're good. He does not, and we are gonna go continue straight up for the AV8. And what can this guy really do to us? We are faster, we turn better, and if he doesn't go into his VTOL mode, then he can't really do much against us at all. And in the VTOL mode I can simply run away, push ahead on, and just go straight up. And he can't really go up and missile us, because guess what? We have flares. It's not like with the Milan, for example, where you can merge in the head-on with an AV8 and just stall them out. But if you do that, then that missile is going to hit you. So he tries to fly away. He's already crit. He's not doing very well. We shoot a bit, predict where he's going to go to, and he explodes. Then it's still 2 guys left. One of them managed to crash on landing. And there is an AV8 here, which has the absolute brilliant idea of trying to climb away from us. So this guy is going to give us a pretty easy 4th kill here. All we have to do is pitch up for him, wait for him to go very slow, wait until we get close enough. I probably could spray here, but I'm expecting another guy to come in soon. So I just hold the trigger down, we set him on fire, and that's going to be 83,000 Silver Lions, 15,000 resource points. No landing, no nothing, pretty short game. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.